What is going on, guys? It is Rexsi here. Today we are back once again, finally, with my very first tier list for Season 7. I know it's been a little while since I've actually done a tier list video. But basically, how we're going to be doing this is it's going to be on the official site that we had made. It's still a work in progress, obviously, there's a lot of things to it. But if you didn't know, if you click that link in the description, you can create your own tier list on this site, right? And pretty much what you're seeing right now is not my tier list, by the way, so hold your horses. This is not my tier list. My tier list is in the other tab, but what this is this is a public average. So basically, all hundreds of you that have created tier lists had it averaged out. So when a couple of people vote for a certain god, it's averaged out into that tier, and then when enough people vote for a certain tier, it moves up, it moves down based on where people have been putting the characters, right? So it's really neat. It's a really cool system, and this is your guys' average for now. If you do want to make your own tier list, please don't be shy. Click the link in the description, and all you gotta do is sign into your Gmail, and then make your tier list, and then click submit. Bada boom, bada bing. We have it for Duel, Conquest, all that stuff, and then you'll also be able to see certain classes based on what you just want to see that, as well as there's gonna be, tier lists for public figures, such as myself. Probably get faces in here, some other duelers, maybe Sam's if he wants to. Stuff like that. It's really cool concept. And I want to go over a few things before we start. This wasn't addressed beforehand, but we don't actually have an S- tier or A-, things like that. That's because I feel like it's a little unnecessary for the time being. If you guys really want to see an S- tier, then or A-, all that stuff, we can go ahead and do that. We can make changes if we want to. But I felt it a bit unnecessary. But I've also written out some rules based on pretty much what we're going for in terms of each tier. So to begin with, obviously, a character being a top tier does not mean that this character is unbeatable. It doesn't mean that they're just the best character overall, or the best character in Duel at the time, like in S+, for example. Maybe SS, like we might get into that in a second, like SS would just be undefeatable. But basically, every god has bad matchups and good matchups. That's how it happens. That's how a tier list works. Or gods work in general. So each character has no specific ranking in their tier. As you can see, it's based on alphabetical order. So there's not a better god in each tier than the others. Now, yeah. A character being in S, for example, doesn't mean that they can't lose to characters that are in this. There's obviously going to be some matchups that are better than others, in pretty much like any duel game. It happens, right? So don't go ahead and think that just because a character is up here, that means they can't be beaten by characters down here. There's obviously counter matchups, things like that. So with that out of the way, let's talk about each tier really quickly, and go over what they mean. So SS, like I said, it could be considered a character that just is pretty much dominant compared to every other character. Usually, there's never ever a character in Duel that's considered, just unbeatable. Like, just without a doubt, like, best character in Duel. Like, he can't really be beat. He doesn't have bad matchups. Now, the closest thing to an SS tier I could ever think of would be, off the top of my head, would be something like Camazotz. When he was first released into the game, I think in Duel, like, he was just pretty much unstoppable. His, like, sustain and stuff like that was just really stupid. And by the way, I'm not going to go out and change tiers and work on it here. I've already created my tier list. I don't want to bore you guys with me deciding, like, ooh, well, maybe I'll change my mind about this character, this character, this character. I went and I really thought over every character that I thought in my tier list up here. We haven't clicked on it yet. We're still looking at your guys' tier list, so keep that in mind. Anyways, SS tier would be pretty much, it could be considered unbeatable, but they just have so few counter matchups to the point where they're just not, there's no point in them ever even being allowed into Duel to begin with. Now, S+ would be the best characters in Duel. These are characters that are top priority to ban, and they have few to, if any, counter matchups other than others in their tier. Obviously, some counter matchups exist, but they have very few of them, and they're considered, top ban, top pick in Duel at all times. You see these characters constantly banned or constantly picked no matter what. If they get through, they're going to most likely be picked. That's how this tier goes. S tiers are top tier characters in duels. These are overall just extremely solid characters. You'll see them banned pretty much all the time. Almost as, like, just, you know, if these are already banned, usually, if an S tier is usually banned, then people usually poke into the S tiers for bans, pretty much. That's what I'm getting at. A+ are high tier characters in Duel. These are overall just extremely solid characters that you will, you won't see, you know, typically banned too much, but they are, you know, high tier, and they're picked pretty much above anything below them on average. People play them a lot more, and their kits are just generally a lot more viable, and they work well with the new map. A tiers are sort of like a mid-tier character. They're like viable, but their kits kind of fall short. They don't work as well with the map or the farming, or they don't clear as well, for example, and they can't clear camps. They just kind of fall short, pretty much. They just can't do as much with their kit in the current state of Duel as other characters. And as we get lower here, B+ tiers are just low S tier characters in Duel. These characters practically unplayable. Their kits just do nothing to the meta. They suck. They're really, really, really hard to play with the changes from Season 6 to Season 7. The fact that it's all farming and stuff like that. We'll get into that more when we look at my tier list. B is just literally unplayable. It is unplayable. It is practically impossible to win with the characters. Sometimes, I mean, you can go crazy. You might have some good luck, but especially in the higher tiers, you can't play them. You just can't. It's practically impossible to win. C is even more unplayable than unplayable, is pretty much this tier. And then at D, we have Capri tier. Okay, so that's the guidelines for the tiers. Let me know what you guys think of it, and if we should incorporate just S- as well as A-, that kind of stuff. Maybe even just an S-. Let me know. I'm comfortable with it now. We're definitely got some changes to the site. I don't like my logo on the back there. That's just a placeholder. Let's go on. Before I show my tier list, let's go over some things that I disagree with the public tier list, and I'll explain why. Let's get to it. I'm going to have a cup of coffee here. Sit down, have a nice talk. Number 1, I don't consider Heimdall the same tier as the top tiers. I feel like his kit doesn't bring as much to the table. Number 2 is Anami. Definitely should not be that low. Her clear generally is just stupid. She does extremely well in this map, as well as the buffs. They easily place her at the very top of the food chain in Duel. Same with Camazotz. I'm just going to show the big ones that I completely disagree with. I don't understand whether the community put them so low. Camazotz and Izanami definitely are just the kings of Duel. They're like some of the best characters that you can absolutely play in Duel, without a doubt, right now. There was some other ones that I wanted to move as well. Chuck, his sustain, his clear, make him also very exceptionally good in the game. What you got to consider when you look at this map is there's some key things. There's like a few major things that make a character good in Season 7 Duel. Number 1, tower camping. Just being able to tower camp, like in the last map, does not work as well as it does in this map. And the reason why, although that's a good thing, it's also kind of a bad thing, because it makes other characters that can camp and clear even better. So, like, the Poseidon, it makes them just a little more annoying, for example, than they used to be. So pretty much what you got to consider is this. Can they sustain? How well can they sustain? How well can they clear? And how much can they clear camps, and how much can they clear waves? The faster you can clear, like, those things, and the more you can sustain, the better your character is going to do, without a doubt. Like, think about it. Look at Camazotz. Why do you think Camazotz is so amazing? His camp clear, he gets his passive off of his 2 when he hits the big buff. There's also that glitch, but his clear is really good. He's got AoE abilities, or an AoE ability or 2, as well as an AoE auto attack, which is exceptional for clearing camps. He's pretty decent at clearing waves, but the thing that makes him killer is that, although he's not insane at clearing waves compared to other characters, he's got stupid sustain. If you buy a couple mana potions on him, or you pick up blue buff, you can pretty much run around indefinitely. You can just keep going and sustaining. Although you might get, like, out-pressured on a wave, or you pressure on a wave, you can continue to run around the map while the other person is forced to back. And the map's so big that you can just continue to slowly get more and more and more ahead. So even if you're behind, you can focus on farming and out-sustain the person. So, like, that's why sustain is just stupidly important. That's why characters like Shock, for example, have moved up this season. Sustain, just, especially in those early waves, you get more out of it, right? So, let's move on. And as Hades, for example, is another huge one. He jumped, man. He used to be really bad, like, or mediocre in Duel. Oh, my good lord. Okay. Are you guys ready? Let's take a dwell into my tier list. This is my official Season 7 tier list. I've looked over it a few times. I think I'm comfortable with where I have everything. So let's take a look at it. We'll go god by god. Anhur. Anhur's Anhur. He's the bare essential, bare bones bitch of Duel. Simple kit. Does exceptionally well. Passive's amazing. Same with Baka. Like, most of these gods we've gone over, they're the bread and butter of Duel. So many words with B. Just really, really solid Duel characters. Camazotz is one of those characters that we just talked about that moved up. His sustain is absolutely insane. Hebo's Hebo. Crazy buff. Camp. Damage. Cleared. Everything. He's got everything. He's just Hebo. His abilities do damage. He's just a pure damage character. Always done well in Duel. Hu Yi actually went up a little bit. Tons of ricochets. People are still definitely adjusting, and they are learning what to do with him and how to play him a little better based on the new map, but he still is one of the top dogs at Duel, and the new ricochet mounts is definitely a make for him for easy camp clear, and even crazier damage potential, all that jazz. He's a friggin' Nami, man. I hate playing against Izanami. Sorry, I'm struggling to keep my breath here. I'm talking so much. Izanami, oh my god, man, she jumped up so many tiers. She got a buff, by the way, right before the season came by. She can basically clear a wave with just a few auto attacks, and her two if she wants to. She can AoE, or she can hit all the creeps at once, or all the minions, all the buff, all the... What is it even? All the enemy at the buffs. Yeah. The turtles, or whatever, okay? The tigers or the turtles. She can hit all of them at once at the same time with her normal auto attacks. And then when she kills the smalls, or when she's on a single target, she can press 1 for the best steroid in the game, technically. Which absolutely shreds things like Bull Demon, or Titan, or Towers, objectives. She has pressure on objectives. She has insane camp clear. She's got everything. She's even got mobility. Like, that's something that also helps in this map, is having like a jump and stuff like that actually makes you pretty good, because there's so many places to escape and, you know, corners and stuff. Scotty also is really annoying on this map. With her 3, she's got really good clear. Calder's annoying, of good objective pressure. She actually jumped up a tier than last season, I would say, because she's able to escape with her 3 really easily and just clear really easily. She's a really good camping character, good pressure. Zoeller. He's the boy. I don't think he's really going to be able to change. He's always going to be a top tier character. Everything about him, of course. AMC, I'd say, I want to tier down, although his highs can go around everywhere. He doesn't really have too much in comparison to these guys with his kit. Like, his sustain's okay. His mobility's good, but he doesn't have something like ice, for example, like Scotty has ice, which will mess people up, especially with all the corners and stuff like that. When AMC is just, he's got all the high, he can hide highs all over the place and stuff like that, but he's still, trust me, a very good character. I ban him all the time. I just really hate playing against the character, but I still don't think he's on the same level as the S+ tier characters anymore. Amaterasu, I would actually have considered her close to S+ at the end of last season, but unfortunately the map changed. Actually, fortunately, because I'm not a huge fan of Amaterasu. She has to use her 2. Like, the annoying thing about her and what makes her not S+ is that there's so many camps to clear, and she has to use her 2 every time, which isn't up all the time, especially when she's going auto attack based. She's got insane pressure. She's really good at sticking and pressuring out enemies, and she's good at most stages of the game, but she excels compared to mostly every other character from below her. A lot of people underestimate her. Her mobility, healing, sustain. Like if from now I'm not going to keep mentioning it, but the characters that I mention, there's a good reason why they're there, and they have a lot of sustain. Sustain's going to be a big thing. Just think about it. Sustain, mobility. She's got, for example, her 1, which gives her movement speed, and she's got her 3. She's got an ult. She's got so many ways of escaping, so many ways of mobility, good clear, and just overall good in general. That's why she's an S. Kronos, not much to say about Kronos. Kronos is in the same spot. good sustain, all that stuff. Erlang Shen, not much has changed with him. You can just imagine his 3 is really good for clearing. Decent camp clear, good wave clear. Hades actually jumped up a boatload because of his 2-3. He can just think about it. Just stop for a second and think about Hades. I had a feeling the second it went through Hades, or the changes from Season 7 came through, that he was going to be... He's going to be a monster. He can insta-clear waves, insta-clear camps, crazy sustain, escape, good ultimate, gets beads and stuff. Heimdall is new. It was difficult to see exactly where he'd be placed. I don't know if I consider him S or S+. I think he's on the S side, though. But there's some people who can actually excel with him. It's about knowing how to pressure properly with him. I feel like the problem with him is that a lot of people don't actually understand exactly how to play him well, me being included. But I've played against some good ones, and I could easily say that he's probably around S tier, if not S+. I just don't know if he's at that little edge of hitting S+ yet because of the lack of his mobility with his 3. It's just difficult to work with. If you know what you're doing, though, he could easily be an S+ character. Hel has been a very good character for a long time, and I feel like she's been underestimated for a very long time. And I think people are starting to finally clue in as to how good she is, and on this map especially. Sustain, good camp clear, instant wave clear. Kali, the next one, she actually jumped up a tier than last tier, I would say, because she's got her 2 is really good for camp clearing, as well as wave clearing. Good pressure, jump. If you get a blink, you can catch them off guard, 3 stun them, and then they jump away. You can jump after them. Combine that with like a hasten or something. You can stick to gods very easy. Hard to camp against Kali. She actually does really well now. Medusa's Medusa. She's just another hunter. Does exceptionally well. She's got good pressure. Does a lot of damage to their autos, abilities. Got anti-heal to automatically in her kit, which is also very good against the sustain meta. Pele, most of these characters are the same, like Pele, Medusa, Poseidon, Vulcan. All those characters are pretty much exactly where they were. They don't bring anything new to the table that really helps them on this map. They're just same old. Except Set. Set, I don't know if I ever put in a tier list before. Last season, he definitely was S+. This season, I say I'd put him at S. He's still an extremely strong character, and he has tons of really good matchups for him. But I feel like he just doesn't do as well versus these top-tier characters there. His, there's just so many places he can be escaped from. Like, I know he can 3 over the wall, but there's just so many areas where it can be easy to avoid him, especially if you have a jump and you're careful of your positioning. I think a big thing of last season was people just didn't understand how to play against him. Achilles. Achilles, pretty straightforward. He's got decent clear, but he doesn't get the second 3 unless he hits a god, so his camp clear is kind of That's why he isn't as good. I say he was like S, like higher end of A+. He'd be like S-, like per se in the previous season. Anubis, Apollo, Bellona, all these characters. I'll just look for ones that I can talk about that are like a big change compared to previous seasons. Most of them, I think, like I've already explained it enough, like what makes them good, and I'm just kind of repeating myself as to why these characters are here. I think from now on, I'll just kind of breeze through them a little faster because it's starting to get a little repetitive, and you guys already know what I'm going on about and why I'm putting them where they are. Cernulis, AoE autos, good for clearing. Chalk, he's one of them. That, good sustain. You can go Warrior's Blessing, even in Glad Shield. Just your 3. You get your auto attack passive for even more sustain, like unlimited healing. Good camp clear. You can pressure them out really hard early game and then continue to sustain. You can win red. All that jazz. Freya, I don't even know if she's A+. It depends. I don't know. Her camp clear is okay. Her early game is okay. I'm really heavily debating on where I should put the Freya. Hercules, good reason for everything here. Mercury, okay, Mercury is definitely one of the ones I need to talk about. Mercury, I might even consider him S. It depends a lot on the player. He's not a good pick or a bet. Okay, I'm not going to do that. He's a good pick, but it depends if the person knows how to pressure properly with Mercury, because if you get late game versus some characters, Mercury absolutely destroys. Mercury Golden Blade, it feels like his prime in the the previous seasons when the original Golden Bow. It feels like sort of similar to that, basically, because he can just clear camps with Golden Blade and then stick to people. He doesn't have to fight them too much, but when he does, he can just stick to them like glue. He works really well, and I remember Face mentioning when the season first came out, he's like, Mercury's going to be good. I didn't believe him, but then I fought some good Mercuries, and he definitely has a spot here in A+, if not S. Everyone else, let's see, Neith actually moved a tier down, just because her clear is okay, and she doesn't have a steroid compared to other characters, so it kind of, like, before it used to be all about wave clear and then out-pressuring the enemy, but now it's like you just want to clear camps, clear wave, and then fight the enemy. Once your abilities are down, you use them on the camps or the waves and stuff, so... Odin's pretty decent. I feel like he's a little overrated, though. People think he's a little better than he actually is. He's still kind of a weird character, or his abilities are kind of easy to counter, especially if you're a decent tier character. Persephone. Another one, Ravana and Serket both have... Ravana especially has really good clear. His one works super well. It's on a very low cooldown. Great for camps. He definitely jumped up a tier this season. He's got good pressure. He's got good wave clear. The only thing is that his objective pressure is a little lackey compared to like the S tier characters, I'd say. If that's like one of the strengths. And yeah, overall he definitely jumped up a tier with the camp clear mainly. Serket's kind of the same way since it's focused more on camps, being able to use your one. She does pretty well. I don't know if I'm gonna put her in S or A+. No, I'm gonna keep her in an A. She's like a little higher than A, but not A+, I'd say. I don't know. Like, her clear just isn't as good as someone like Ravana's. Tier's actually pretty cool. He definitely jumped up like a tier. Oh god, I didn't mean to do that. I seriously didn't even mean to do that. Oh no. Don't hate me. He did move up a tier, definitely. The movement speed buff. Oh my lord. On tier especially. Holy crap, he's got good camp clear, good wave clear. Easily out-pressure enemies. Annoying to catch or to even run away from. Overall, just very annoying. Vamana's still Vamana. Nothing much has changed. Ymir actually went down a tier, I think. I'd say. Like, he used to be maybe S- or S. Higher end of A+. He's definitely lower end of A+ now. Basically just the lack of being able to catch someone. Like, I don't even really see Radiant playing that much, actually, anymore. Because Ymir just jumped so much lower in Duel now because it's not about fighting as much, you know? People can just kind of run away from Ymir, jump over his walls, disengage, keep farming, get ahead in that stage, and Ymir can't snowball as easily. These are mediocre characters, not too much to talk about. They either have not very good clear, they have low base health, or constantly out of position, not good mobility, don't do enough damage. It's just very basic for that. I'm going to briefly look over some of these. I think I agree with pretty much all of this, but that's the general guidelines for it. B+. I might move Kuzumbo to A. I'm very considering of it, just because I got my shit stomped in by a good Kuzumbo one time. But yeah, these are practically almost unplayable characters. I may put Arachne in A. But yeah, characters like King Arthur. Oh, good lord, King Arthur. He's just so bad. He's not very good at clearing camps. His objective pressure, oh my god, chasing enemies down. He is so bad. He was bad in the last map. He's even worse now, man. Watatasi is a lot worse. Wukong, Thoth, it's not as easy to camp. And his camp clear is definitely not very good. B, Ares is probably one of the cooler ones because I feel like his Assassin's Blessing definitely throws a wrench into things. I have a lot of fun with him. But him, Artio, like all the gods that used to be, like the Guardians definitely took a big hit this season, man. Holy crap. Just not having to focus on fighting, which that was the one thing that, even though they're a Guardian, they can somewhat do. Like, it somewhat gave them a chance, but man, all these characters, especially Khepri, man. Just think about Khepri. There's a reason he's in his own tier. He's so bad. He's so bad. His 2, it's like so mediocre. His camp clear, it takes so much to clear a camp. So much to clear a wave. And even if you do, you can fucking... It's not like I was about to cry, but I was a mid-hiccup. Poor Khepri. You just can't do anything, man. I remember trying to do a video on Khepri. Oh my god, I just gave up. I gave up immediately. I was like, I can't do this. It's just ridiculous. It's so bad. My god. Loki, we'll see if he changes, but I don't know if I'd actually keep him in B. Definitely B+, at least. Just notice that. And Janice, we'll keep him here. Didn't really look over that too much. Okay. Nike's just terrible. Okay, so that's that. That's going to be it for my tier list. Remember, like I said, everything that I put as my opinion is my opinion. You can disagree with it. You can agree with it. Discuss it in the comments. Don't just dislike just because you don't agree with, ooh, I actually mean Arachne, and I think she's S+, and you're a fucking idiot. Well, you know what? You don't have to say that. You could, in theory, go to the site, place your opinions, make your own tier lists, okay? Just make your own tier lists, submit it, and an average will be set. You can make your own tier list and save it as your own. You can show your friends, you know, convince them, convince me, anything, man. You can everyone has the right to their own opinion. It can be shared here, and we can make an average. I think we can make something really cool out of this. If you enjoyed this, though, please be sure to leave the video a like. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the tier list. Please discuss what you think about my opinions below. If you disagree or agree with characters, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, I'm going to be streaming right after this is uploaded. If you want to come, hop in the stream. I will see you next video, guys. I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye-bye.